Hello everyone, I'm Sean and you're watching Sort, my YouTube channel all about sports and interesting topics. And today the topic is going to be science for women and, interestingly, New York. I'm hard by the glass building of the United Nations. These are some of the attendees of the conference that I'm going to be going to. This is the glass building of the United Nations. So I'm part of a delegation, and the delegation is led by E.P.M, which is a company represented by the Esposito family. So I'm with them in New York, and this is actually a follow-up because there was an initiative called STEMs for Sud in Italy, and they managed to bring some scientists and researchers from the United States to Naples to help children, young people get an inclination for STEMs, which are all those subjects related to science, technology, engineering, and maths. So the idea was to encourage young people and children to study these subjects and favor the development of the south of Italy, but also the global south. So we followed up on the initiative, and from Naples we came to New York. Interestingly, the name of Naples means the new city, and New York is also a new city. And I'm here with Paola Ferrari. I know her surname as the wife of Mario Ferrari, a leading researcher on a cure for cancer. And she's going to explain what this day is going to be about at the UN glass building. It's basically summarized by two words, women and science.
Good morning. Yes, we are all here in New York today. This will be the 8th year that the International Day of Women and Girls in Science is celebrated. This was an initiative promoted again 8 years ago by Princess Nisreen El-Hashemite. She was able to get the consensus of more than 80 nations to nominate February 11th as this important day. The mission of the day is to support women and girls all over the world in their pursuit of careers in science, technology, engineering and math. We know that in so many parts of the world this is something which is really deficient, and there are so many obstacles
needed.
And we bring value, we bring different perspective, and we certainly contribute, will contribute an incredible share of advancement toward the Sustainable Development Goals, which are the platform and the not so distant horizon we are all looking at.
We had a look at the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals. Among the ones that left an impression on me were to combat poverty, to enable food security across the world, and so on and so on.
However, the matron of this event, Princess Nisreen, she's a geneticist, and she said, well, I know genes are what I work on.
So let's change the standard.
Exactly. So let's all come wearing jeans, and that was her suggestion. It's not an imposition, but certainly this institution needs also to be refreshed in many ways.
And that's actually quite important, because in Italy, the country we come from, it was not so long ago, maybe 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that women were not supposed to wear trousers, and trousers were seen as masculine in identity. So who wears the trousers in Italy means who's the boss. So by wearing jeans, we're also empowering women and accepting that they can behave just the same way as men.
Absolutely. Well said, Sean. Welcome to New York, and enjoy this momentous day.
This building is stacked in history, the history of politics since the end of World War II.
Sustain. Ideas bringing everyone forward for sustainable development. So our day will start with amazing conversations. It is my pleasure to give the floor to His Excellency, Ambassador Mikhail Milinar.
To understand the difference between cholera and COVID-19. Through this question, I realized that COVID-19 is a global pandemic affecting people regardless of their location or socioeconomic, living in poverty with limited access to clean water, sanitation, and health care. Cholera is very cheap and durable. The components cost less than $100. It is simple, easy to transfer, hold, install, and to use. It is green. It uses renewable.
This is a video about a girl who invented a system to cleanse water sources for people who live in refugee camps by connecting a lamp that has the ability to kill bacteria to solar panels, thus obtaining clean water and stop spreading cholera.
The amount of brilliant ideas that many designers develop for our citizens, we need to change the rule of the game. We need a platform where designers and cities can defend the ideas of sustainable design and implement the SDGs without being affected by government changes, economic interests, or individual powers.
The next intervention is about developing a global water safety plan and also resilience to climate change.
Generally geared toward drinking water suppliers, but we realize that water supply system that's at the household level. We can implement monitoring as well that has started, but really without
Thank you very much to the islands. People who are already highly vulnerable and living on the edge are suddenly finding themselves in a situation where they simply cannot cope. And we have to be careful that when we present solutions, we think of where we're coming from. We cannot say to someone, let me show you how to build a boat while they are drowning.
Partnership program as far as the infrastructure development is concerned. We started up from road creation to airport, port development, and India attracted a lot of foreign investment.
Systems. So, and it's just the way human beings are wired. We get really excited about certain technologies. We get really excited about electric cars and renewable fuels and electric planes. So I would suggest that we define sustainable transportation as transportation that's accessible, that's affordable, that is climate friendly, that reduces local air pollution, and that kind of thing. And then set the policies that allow the private sector and all of these amazing women to innovate and provide solutions.
On the SDGs, and that includes the private sector. Business, ambition, and innovation is really falling short of what we need, the scale we need to achieve the SDGs. The business community can do more and must do more.
This is the first intervention concerning food security, concerning sustainable development goals, in which someone talks about the world of business and the corporate world actually failing on the goals. So a little bit of criticism finally entered the conversation.
Women perform 3 times as much unpaid care work as men. So how do you enable women and girls to flourish and thrive in their careers if they're taking on an unfair burden at home? And globally, women workers earn an average of 80% of what men earn. Just not acceptable. But when we empower women and girls and include them, economies grow, communities thrive, and business can flourish. It's estimated that around $28 trillion could be added to global GDP GDP by 2025 simply through investing in gender equality. I want to finish, knowing that we're somewhat short on time, by just reminding everyone in the room that gender equality is not a woman's issue, and I'm really proud to be a male champion of gender equality, because we need everyone to speak up and be allies. We need to make gender equality everyone's business.
Are responsible for insect extinction and disadvantage, which is observed all over the globe. This disturbation of biodiversity exacerbates food shortages.
There was a very fast intervention straight to the point about animal pollination and how to protect insects and bees who favor the pollination of plants and therefore can restore food security for everyone.
I will take the opportunity just to say that as president of the NGO, the Grace of the Social Entrepreneurship for Special Need Kids, which my small daughter is special need too, we help in the relief and support operations, and we teamed up with the Canadian Cerebral Palsy Association with President Joseph Khoury, who is well known at the UN conferences, to start the first telehandicap, the first world telehandicap television. And is present with us, Ms. Ariane Bouchardy-Gauthier, representing the l'Association canadienne du paralysie cérébrale. Nature traits the greed, and we shift the greed, and we remove the D and we put the N, and to become green instead of greed. So, but what does it mean to be sustainable business or industry community? It means taking a holistic approach to sustainability, considering the social, environmental, and economic impacts of our actions and finding ways to minimize any negative impact.
Dr. Nisreen El-Hashemite is from the Centre National d'Études Spatiales of France. The three of them are working in a very interesting mission called SWOT, which stands for Surface, Water and Ocean Topography. Then we have Dr. Guru Prasad Swal, founding board member and president of the Indus International Research Foundation. We'll start,
the last intervention is quite interesting. It's about women and aerospace research.
In this forum, and really people might be wondering why space? We are talking about the Earth and sustainability on Earth. Chlorophyll, so biology in the water. We can look at sediments in the water, and this is an example of using different satellites, Sentinel-2 and Sentinel-3 from the Copernicus program, European Commission, and looking when blooms appear, if they come later, if they go sooner. We can look at temperature to see the types also of phytoplankton that can appear, and this will have impact on fish stock, for instance, or can have impact in aquaculture, and this will also affect the
surface water and ocean topography is SWOT.
Everything in between the salty and fresh and all this brackish water.
I think I saw the shadow of King Kong starting to climb the Empire State.
Excuse me while I mingle. Hi, how are you? Hey everybody, let me give you a toast. This one's for me.
Like every museum, like every place of interest, there must be a shop to buy souvenirs.
It's gonna trifle colder. Step inside my
I've been a scientist since I was a kid and watched PBS. The next point that you brought up is I want to talk about the global campaign, the Science and Braille Global Campaign. I'm honored to be the director. I'm honored that we are going to go forth. The mission and vision is that we, as blind individuals, we are not just bumbling around. We're actually experts in our field. And then we want the world to take our advice in that and to show that we are not just benefactors, but agents.
Believe in ourselves, right? Because if we don't believe in ourselves, nothing is possible. It becomes so difficult to succeed, and it becomes so difficult to
strength of will. But to quote the beautiful and talented Stella Young, no amount of smiling is going to change that flight of stairs into a ramp. There is a lot of work that we need to do, and we not only need to be people of heart, but we need to be wise, and we need to be savvy, and we need to get the work done, and we need to rely desperately on one another.
A network of training programs around the world that builds this capacity in current and future generations of teachers.
In Formula 1, we are no different. On the track this year, we are proud to be launching the F1 Academy, our all-women's racing series, and back at base, we are very lucky that we have female leaderships across several departments. Formula 1 is a sport that depends on cutting-edge science and technology, driving our competition to greatest heights. We need more women to be part of this fight. Sustainability is at the heart of the future of Formula 1. That is why we set our detailed plan to be net zero carbon by 2030, using less fuel and hence CO2 than any other car. But from 2026, we will go further, with all cars running on a fully sustainable fuel. This fuel will not only reduce the emission of our cars on track, but is being designed as a drop-in fuel, meaning it can be used across all traditional road cars. By 2030, there will be 1.4 billion cars on the road globally. However, only 8% will be pure battery electric vehicles, leaving more than 1.2 billion internal combustion engine vehicles. Producing 100% sustainable fuel that will be used by all those cars and vehicles with no modification will have a huge impact on emissions.
We just heard the message from the F1 chief, Stefano Domenicali, in favor of sustainability and communicating the sustainability commitments of F1.
What she sees, what she dreams, and what she accomplishes. So by all of you collectively, using the media as a partner, we will surely help in your fight to inspire the next generation of women in science.
Sadei Baderingwa spoke on the importance of the media in communicating stories of change, especially for women in science and equity and support of diversity. So she said, go out there, tell your stories, communicate with the media.
Introduce kids to science. And during the last years, this initiative has been expanded also to Naples and Bagura, creating a high demand for hands-on activities. To fulfill this, we started the Youth Empowered by STEM Brigade. Yes Brigade is the first international community of young researchers committed to develop original experiments to make kids present in our everyday lives and how it can be leveraged to address today's challenges, such as human disease, food insecurity, and pollution. We hope to inspire the next generation to pursue STEM careers. Hence, the Yes Brigade, by working towards SGD4, quality education, and 10, reduced inequality, is also working towards all the other 17
women and girls in science innovate, develop, elevate, advance, sustain.
is a trip. It's okay in my book. Here, take a sip. Maybe a little heavy on the fruit. Ah, here comes the dip. You may kiss the cook. Let me show you, honey. It's easy. Look. You take a fork and you spike 'em. Say, did you try these? So bad you like 'em. The secret's